Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
William, you're on mute. You're on mute. Brad?
Not on mute. It's a trick StreamYard likes to pull every now and then. A lot of tricks in their bag lately. So let's try this with a movie that's actually good. Spider-Man 2.
Yo.
Fresh from her hangover there. Good. Glad to see you there.
Been for a job.
And then Dracula's in the panel. He doesn't sleep. All right, so Spider-Man 2, for all the reasons we explained through last night's Saturday Overnight Live. One of the great superhero movies, period. In any era, the PMCU era, the Fox era, the Sony era, it just has its staying power. 20 years to the date today of its release, it's still bantied about. It's one of the reasons why you can have a Tobey Maguire pop up years later and still get the kind of reaction he does and still get the kind of regard he does. I think hopefully when we're down the line, we'll get that for Andrew Garfield. But right now, Spider-Man 2, is everybody ready?
Waiting for the go ahead.
All right, let me get
Is Aaron not coming?
I'm not sure. Center link.
She might just be getting up. It's only 7.
Yeah, remember she's
Yeah. So I have a question. How does Doc Ock take a punch from Spider-Man?
Spider-Man intentionally pulls his punches when fighting against people that cannot handle him. So he's not trying to.
Yeah. If it's a normal human being, if it's a normal human being that's not armored or not like the Rhino or somebody like somebody like that, he's pretty much trained himself. He actually has to go an extra mental level to use his superhuman strength for things other than lifting because he's trained himself that way. Because he could kill somebody with one punch. It's not,
I mean,
that was they played on that in No Way Home with Andrew Garfield. After one died, he said he stopped pulling my punches. But in the comic, Spider-Man explains that he pulls his punches like a lot. So it's pretty common.
And he even discovers the necessity to do that in the first one when he has the fight with Flash Thompson, in high school when he just takes him out with just a one punch.
He's just looking around. Yeah,
it's like a football field away. So he's like, okay, when I punch somebody, I gotta give a normal person maybe like about 30% power.
Also, he back in Spider-Man versus Wolverine, there's a character in there he accidentally kills because she commits suicide by sneaking up on him, and he thinks Wolverine, and he thinks he's punching Wolverine, and it's her, and he kills her. So it's like he knows his strength, but he's been at it long enough to know where he can.
Even Wolverine says in that you can't fuck with a Peter Parker that's pissed off using full power. Like even he wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah, because you're dealing with superhuman speed and strength.
Yeah, you're dealing with the Spider-Man in full power. That's a whole different than the game he's playing with the villains. He's more like the Flash with his villains than he is than Batman or something, right? So Batman's trying to like break bones and put him away for a while.
Yeah, and it's normal human strength on top of normal human strength when it's
yeah.
All right, Vince, hit it.
All right.
No fun.
William, do you think this will be a better movie than the movie that we watched?
I'm trying not to even acknowledge that
we took that stream down because he didn't. He felt so bad about like bashing on like the directors.
So I had to drop the link. I definitely want to get that link because I want to see this reaction everyone's talking about.
Oh, I thought you were there.
Danny Elfman was still doing this thing when this two still came on. 1 and 2, Danny Elfman was doing his thing.
I was there for about a half. When you stepped away to get your food, I had to drop because it was like 1 in the morning, so I had to drop. But yeah, I've heard you had quite the opinion.
Yeah, he did.
The movie was not good. I take it.
Not in any way.
I'll be honest. I felt as if like Brad led were in merry dance, and so did Fourth. To be honest with you, because William, I was like you. I was expecting this major twist. And then it just sort of just face planted, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was expecting a good movie, and in no way, like I said, it's really hard to find a movie that's not good in any way. Usually, even the worst movie you watch has a redeeming. Okay, that.
Well, because I saw it theatrically, and I thought, oh, William's gonna dig this because it's full of the 3Ds, and then we get halfway into it, and I could tell, okay, this definitely is going to be his cup of tea. And then I remember Fourth also did, because he had seen it too. We realized, oh, we know how it ends. So, okay, we might as well buckle up because they're going to have thoughts on it. And we know, and Ruth broke out the same one he had for Justice League, which was absolutely dreadful. So
yeah,
William, in this intro, do you know who's doing the art? Is this Alex Ross?
Yeah, it looks very Alex Ross.
I mean, it's hard to say because they're drawing the movie characters, so it's not drawing the Marvel.
Yeah, some of them are definitely Alex Ross. Some of them are actually stills from the movie that they've overlaid.
Yeah. Well, they're all
because it starts with the ending of the last movie. Still, right?
Alex Ross. That's Alex Ross.
They're all scenes from the first movie, but they're done in comic book illustration form.
Yeah. The Green Goblin was real cool. Yeah, like that Spider-Man looks totally Alex Ross, right? That looks totally Alex Ross.
Well, big time, yeah.
Well, it's hard to say because it could be somebody just in that style, but look at that Green Goblin is amazing.
Yeah. I have to say also, too, I mean, now, of course, again, Danny Elfman, maybe his stock has dropped a little bit in these last few years without.
No, he did his thing on this, though. He did his thing on
this to me remains the definitive, Spider-Man. When I think of Spider-Man as a character, this is the theme music I think of, like even with Toby, even with Andrew, even with the Spider-Verse movies.
Tom Holland doesn't even seem like he has a theme. Well, yeah, it's hard to pull out of the Avengers theme is the best theme. Iron Man and Captain America kind of have a distinct theme, but the actual Avengers theme, like when they get their role when it starts, that's their best role, I think. But I agree, it's really done well.
William Dafoe's an amazingly did the dual Green Goblin and him.
Yeah.
In the mirror.
Yeah. That's it.
He killed him. He was also. I was really because of course they brought back so many of the main villains for No Way Home. He was of course he was my favorite one they brought back for No Way Home because he's like he doesn't even need the mask. He is so great as the Green Goblin with the way he can contort his face.
That costume in the original Spider-Man was horrible.
Yeah.
Costume.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, talking about Stormtrooper?
Yeah,
the Stormtrooper. That No Way Home costume. There's little inspirations from appearances in comics and cartoons and how he laid it out. So it's totally Green Goblin what he was doing with it.
Yeah, but that in the original movie that was released when the first Green Goblin with the whole green
Stormtrooper, like he should have been in Star Wars with that.
It's awesome.
That movie gets the story That movie gets the Green Goblin a little bit of that story arc, right? You know what I mean? You even get him getting pulled across the over the Washington Bridge with the George Washington Bridge with the cable around Spider-Man, where he's knocked on the Benton building.
I've never been to Manhattan, but Anybody here who has? I would assume is the traffic this much of a nightmare?
Yes.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
a million times
And
worse.
bikes are a primary.
Yeah.
Yeah, bikes are a primary way of
Hey,
courier.
Chappie.
They're
Even crossing the street is, even when you have the right of way, just be prepared that you more likely could get hit because these people don't.
What up, guys? I'm here. Sorry, I'm late.
Bruh.
I love this guy's reaction coming up. It's like he stole that guy's
Donald
pizza.
Rollins.
All right, which version we're watching? I'm gonna catch up with you guys. Which version we're watching?
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
No, I meant like which. Are we watching the extended cut or the regular version?
No, I think this is the theatrical cut because
Okay.
Yeah, this is theatrical.
Yeah. Well, the extended cut because it again that's not like a Snyder cut kind of thing. It adds like 8 minutes, so it's a cool.
No,
8 minutes
I actually prefer the extended cut over the theatrical cut,
Yeah.
but the theatrical cut's good. I do.
Well, it's not like it's not like you like miss like crucial things in the movie.
But it does add some nice story elements to it, I will say.
The elevator scene is a little bit. That's one kind of
And
big
it-
difference with the House Sparks. They have a little bit of different banter there.
Yeah.
I always had thoughts about this when he gets the slice of pizza back. It's like he presumably puts it back in the box, but it's probably gonna have like
Yeah.
covering
Web fluid
on it.
dissolves in
keeping
an
him
hour.
from it.
So, yeah, they're going to an office party. By the time they get to that pizza, it'll be dissolved already.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does the organic
I'll
web
be
fluid
honest.
dissolve?
I would have eaten that this morning. I would have eaten anything this morning, even if it was stuck to the box.
what was in that wine?
When last night it was just a different bottle of Chardonnay, but honestly, it was lethal. It was like rocket fuel.
Boy, you didn't even want to come on camera or
Yeah.
nothing.
One
Oh
that
my
then
Lord.
she flashed on camera.
Oh, that
for,
would
like,
have been
like a minute.
scary.
No,
Would
you
be
flashed
worse than
on
that
really
horror
quick,
film
and you
that
were
we
like, it's
watched.
like you made it sound like they're looking like Medusa or something. It's like no, it's
Yeah.
like it's not that it's no.
So were you take me drunk? I'm home.
No, I was just I look like I literally looked like Harley Quinn this morning because I'd fallen asleep and my red lipstick had just smeared all the way off my face.
Oh, you were Flashpoint Joker. That's what you were. Flashpoint Martha Wayne Joker. There you go.
Mr. Aziz also here. We got this is Asif Manvi. I got the interview of about 2 years ago for what was that? It was the animated like dog samurai movie. What was that called again? I got the interview. Quite a few. I got to interview Michael Cera. I got to interview George Takei. A couple other people involved. But yeah, Asif Manvi. That was pretty cool because of course I loved him when he was on the Daily Show. He originally with Jon Stewart, and he popped up at things like this all the time too. He's actually one of the few good things about the last Airbender movie when he was Commander Zhao in that. And you cannot list many good things about that. So that's definitely a compliment.
He's a great Jameson. It's perfect. That's why they brought. It's perfect.
Oh, J.K. Simmons, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why they brought it back for Far From Home and No Way Home because it's like you can't. He's maybe like the only CBM role that is like unrebootable. Thanks.
So William, quiz. Who's the secretary in the office? Oh, just say her name. Never mind. Yeah, it's Betty Brant. She said her name. I thought they didn't say her name. I thought
they call her Miss Brandt. They call her Betty Brandt.
Yeah, it's Betty Brant.
So the last Spider-Man movie that they actually made was Spider-Man No Way Home. Is that correct? Or?
Yes.
Last one was, last live action one was No Way Home. The last one, all total, was Across the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the last, obviously, did you say live action one? That was fantastic. I really did enjoy that film.
Yeah.
So, Ruth, does this building look familiar to you, Ruth? That they're in?
It's the press office. Is that correct?
That's the Daily Bugle, but it's the same building that the boys use as their office and on the boys. That's a real building in New York. Yeah, he's in a lot of shows and movies.
It's the Flatiron building.
Flatiron. Did any of you guys see this in the theater?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It's also
I think everybody in the world saw the theater, Chappie.
Yeah.
I was too young. I was too young at the time, so I didn't get to experience this until now. But yeah,
it's also the Continental and the.
This was huge. This was huge when it came out.
Oh yeah, oh big time, yeah. In fact, actually, I'll go. I have kind of a funny story for my first time seeing Spider-Man 2 because, like I said, living overseas on a military base when this came out. This is right when I was graduating from high school, and I was living in Italy, and so the theater or the base, we would get things a month and sometimes 2 months after they were released stateside. So Spider-Man 2, if memory serves, we got that it came out June 30th, 2004. We got it, I think, like mid to late August that year. And I was, I was on my high school football team, which, in hindsight, it's like that's a whole other conversation. But it's like in hindsight, I never would have gone out for it. But I ended up quitting that season anyway because it's the choice: like, you want to graduate or do you want to play football? But anyway, so we were just starting practices, a couple like season practices before the school year started, and we had the football field was like on the one side of the base fence, and then on the other side you had like all all the Italian businesses and houses, everything, the Italian economy, and so they were running laps. We were running laps around the field, and this one day before practice, and this is the day that Spider-Man 2 came to the base
Hey,
theater.
I don't mean to be rude, but
Yeah.
which timestamp are we on?
Oh, it's on Twitch.
Tell me the most.
It's right. It's right when
we're at 11. We're at 11 minutes and 4 seconds, Chappie. On Disney.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. But anyway, so they were running, and we would run laps as they would run like alongside where the gate was, because that's right where the field ended. And I was late getting out there because I had to get my helmet, because we were just getting equipment for the season to start, and I had to screw my mask onto my helmet because that was the only one left. And I was struggling to get this damn thing on for so long. And I finally get out there, and I was on the other side of the field from where they were. They were up running by where the gate was. And the assistant coach said, okay, just wait till they come by here and then join in on the laps. And by that point, I realized, I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of smells like a swimming pool out here. And then I look off in the distance and I see kind of this green cloud hovering over this one building out there. And by that point, guys are just falling over and puking and just getting sick. So they had to call practice that day. And we found out later on what had happened was that there's like a textile plant or something on the other side of the base, and they had a pipe burst and they had chlorine gas. So these guys are running like right next to and inhaling the chlorine gas. So I really lucked out there. But the reason why this is relevant to Spider, because that was, like I said, the day Spider-Man 2 came to the base theater. So I mean, I was okay. I didn't get exposed, so I just went to the theater a few hours later to go see it, and so a lot of the other guys on the team. But then I look around, there's someone in the background moving around, and I see it's one of the assistant coaches, and he's pulling guys out of the theater because he's saying, okay, listen, guys, you got exposed. We got to take you to the clinic to make sure you're okay because you inhaled all this chlorine. And and I knew I was okay. So I see him coming, and I just kind of sink into my seat like that. So that was that was my weird kind of experience seeing Spider-Man 2 for the first time theatrically.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Sorry if that was a little bit long-winded, but I just
no, it wasn't. Hey, I'm at
never.
Are you guys at where Aunt May is sweeping with on the table? That's where I'm at right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
where you're.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm at.
Are you there? Clint, are you there?
Yeah, there, Clint?
Yes, I am.
Clint, how are you doing? Because I've not spoken to you for ages. Are you okay?
Oh, I just get a little tired at night nowadays, so.
I understand. So, William, can I ask you a question kind of related to where you were in the world and what you were doing? Were you overseas when this movie came out, or were you in the States at the store already, or?
I was a month away from deployment.
Okay, so you had the store at the time, I take it. What kind of non tie-in to the movie? What was the event, or what was a notable release around this time in comics while this movie was getting released? Do you remember? Do you recall? Because I'm sure you had a lot of people coming to the store just because the Spider-Man movie was coming out, right? So,
Spider-Man on a comic level wasn't in a good place then.
Well, just in any books in general around this time, what was notable to you at this time in history? Kind of like when this movie came out, do you know? Like just 2004 around the summer in general. Anything stand out to you?
I can't remember because I was preparing for
Yeah.
I was
I get it.
I wasn't in the story very much.
Right. That's not. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to look back and look. But yeah, that was we were in pre-deployment. We were on alert, and my time with the Army was running out, and there was a chance they were going to put me on stop loss, but it wasn't a high probability. So I wasn't really. My mind wasn't really where it was supposed to be at that particular time.
Brad, Fun has a question about some stats.
Which one made more money? Spider-Man 1. I think 1 did of the 2 was a little bit bigger. Let me and then 3 was the biggest of the original 3. Let me pull that up. It still did really awesome. Don't get me wrong.
3 is such a disappointment compared to 2.
Nah, they're all great.
Yeah, Spider-Man 1. The budget was 130.
But the editor's cut is a superior version. I will say, if anyone wants to watch,
I've heard of that, but I haven't seen it.
Exactly. I actually prefer that version over the theatrical cut.
So the first one, the budget was 139, which for a superhero movie back then, that was probably that was enormous. And it did 825.8, and that of which about 400 million was stateside. So that it was the first. The original also was the first one to clear 100 million opening weekend. So it was nothing short of a cultural phenomenon when the first one came out. And Spider-Man 2, the budget there, of course, upped it. It was 200, and it did 795.9. So slight come down, but still really, really, really well. And it actually did a little bit better, or no, it did a little bit better internationally, but I did like 374 stateside. So it did roughly as well as the first one. And then 3, let me go ahead and pull that up.
I think it made over like $800 million, right?
Yeah, it did. Ooh. Oh no! Well, and this is going to annoy William, I'm sure, because this, whether you like it or not, I mean, a lot of the money it made was driven in part by the anticipation for Venom.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. The money is the money that was made. It's the same thing with the Dark Knight. When the Dark Knight Rises, the money that was made from Spider-Man 3 was based on the reception of Spider-Man 2. Whenever you have a sequel like that, it's generally based. You've made your case for a third movie, and usually a third movie, no matter how shitty it is going to, if the 2 previous ones have done well or have done consistently well, that third one is going to ride the momentum off of that because you've gained the audience trust. Throwing Venom in that movie,
Trinity still made its budget back, so
yeah, I mean, most of the times your third movie, unless it's Star Wars or something like that, is generally going to be the weakest one. But it doesn't matter because you've made your case with the 2 previous ones. So Venom being in that movie,
isn't that true to Return of the Jedi anyway? The same that you just said even was in the case of Star Wars.
That's right. Star Wars is one of the few exceptions where.
No, that's what I said. Return of the Jedi made less than Empire, didn't it?
I think Return of the Jedi made more. I think it made more. I'd have to look that up. But no, Venom being in that movie wasn't a big, anybody.
Best thing about that movie is that Topher Grace should have been Peter. It shows you that Topher Grace should have been Peter Parker at some point.
By the way, this is Mr. Dickovich right here. He's actually named after, partly after Steve Ditko's, the co-creator of Spider-Man. It was played by Mr. Elia Baskin, who's kind of the he's the basically when you the biggest like Russian Hollywood kind of character actor that people are familiar with.
It's not a forced in Russian family like the Justice League. They don't overstay their welcome and become the central control of the plot at the end. They just are his neighbors.
Well, going back,
get caught up in his hijinks a little bit. Nothing
hey,
great.
what's up, guys? Hey,
Claudia.
What's going on, Claudia?
Not much.
So I've got a question. I'm sorry. I've got a question. Stan Lee obviously always turns up in his movies, right? So I've just read, when we were talking about the pizzas before, about the delivery of the pizzas, and obviously he was meant to say the comment that the other gentleman did about obviously that somebody took the pizzas. Does Stan Lee actually turn up anywhere else in this movie or not?
Yeah, he comes up at Doc Ock where buildings are falling down.
He's like pulling somebody away from falling.
Did you guys see Daniel Day Kim is there, the guy from Lost? He was just one of the extras I walked past.
Yeah. This is where he really kind of broke out. Yeah.
All right, I don't want to give too much about my identity away, but I got something very related to this movie's fact. All right.
Oh,
so a relative of mine was involved in, say, some of the casting in this movie, right?
Oh, really?
And so, yes. So had I paid attention to what she was saying a little bit more when I was younger, I would have been in the subway scene as an extra.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, but I was a hard-headed kid, so you know.
Okay, I'm sending you the link
And who
right now.
did you say? What relative was that, Spidey?
Oh, I can't. I can just say it's a relative.
That
That's
was a
all.
good try, wasn't it?
Okay, I shot you the link, Aaron. Aaron's asking about the.
I already shot her
link.
one.
Yeah. Yeah,
She must have me blocked. She must have me blocked or something.
Well, she asked me to send her one in the comments here. We'll go. Ruth, going back to Stan Lee there. Yeah, because this was before they. Well, they started around this time, kind of getting creative with the Stan Lee cameos because they had the one in Daredevil where Matt.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Like the one in X-Men too.
No, one of my favorite of this time was the one in the Ang Lee Hulk where he walks out of the lab with Lou Ferrigno and they're talking about.
Oh, he's got the drink, or is that the second one?
No,
That's
the
the
second
the
one.
Incredible
Oh,
Hulk.
okay,
That's
okay.
drinks
That's the second one.
Yeah.
The bottle that has like the Bruce's blood in it.
Blood in it. Yeah.
But the first two Spider-Man ones, his cameo is just there's Spider-Man's fighting one of the villains and some falling debris. Coming
Yeah, he's at the Green Goblin fight in the beginning at the fair, at the parade or whatever.
The third one is where he sees there's again, that's when they really started like the expectation for the Stan Lee cameo was really, people were really excited about that. So that's where they had him in the third one. Peter sees a sign that Spider-Man's going to get the key to the city, and Stan Lee walks up next to him and says, I guess one person can make a difference.
You know, he used to do cameos in the comics, and he used to do the letter to the editor
Aaron,
pages. What's going on, Aaron?
Hey, Aaron.
Well, I always looked at that as coming from the comics with his with his cameos being similar.
My favorite.
How goes it, Aaron?
Huh?
I said, how's it going,
Pretty
Aaron?
alright. I'm waiting for the buy into AEW's
Okay.
Okay. Should be about an hour.
Anyway, also Alfred Molina.
Do we Stanley?
Go ahead.
No, sir, you can say it.
Well, I was just everybody, because I'm doing my narration. Yeah, this is we're just seeing Alfred Molina here as introduces Dr. Otto Octavius. He was I would say I definitely put him on par with Willem Dafoe as far as like the casting of the villains in this series, and I was of course really ecstatic when I heard he was going to be back for No Way Home because I mean, he's just another one where it's like they just really just absolutely hit the bullseye with the casting Doc Ock.
Molina was in the beginning of Temple of Doom.
No, not Temple of Doom. Was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Was it Raiders? Yeah, Raiders.
Yeah.
You're right. The skull, the statue. Yeah.
He's the guy. Like he's where Indy, Indy throw me the whip. It's like no, throw me the idol, and then it's adios, and then Indy makes it across, and he sees him. He's got those spikes through him. So yeah, that was I think the first
Raiders. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I'm at the dinner table where he's talking to Doc Ock. You guys sat there?
You're a little bit.
He's just putting his sport jacket on right now.
Yeah.
He's getting ready for his dinner date.
Oh, wait. Okay, which number?
Spidey, can you read it at the bottom? I've got my glasses on. I still can't even say it.
23, 20, 28, 23, 30 on Disney. But what's up? What's up, Bruce?
Still getting the hair of the dog, Ruth, huh?
I've got the glasses on. I still can't see the timestamp. I'm trying. Guys, I'm trying.
What are you watching this on, Ruth?
Twitch.
Oh, you watching?
Yeah, we got it on Twitch right now, so you can just look there.
Oh,
and Samir, dude, where have you been, man?
Yeah, we got him. Yeah.
We've done them both already. I made sure we did both of them.
Did anybody get Spider-Man 2 the game when this came out?
Yep, I did.
What was that, Aaron?
It's one of the best movie tie-in games of all time. You had that, Ruth? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of play games though, mind you. So, but I'll try.
So
I'm
Okay.
not too crazy. I'm usually not too crazy about movie tie-in video games, so I probably missed that one. I did the first one though. The first one actually
Oh,
was pretty good.
it's a classic, Brad. I mean, nowadays it probably wouldn't impress you, but it was pretty good, and it keeps to the story of this, but it adds stuff from like comic book villains and Mysterio and shit. Like, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's just like any game,
Yeah.
but
I think Aaron, you
it
had
was
something
well
on there?
done.
It's a hilarious.
Brad, you're mistaken. You didn't make sure. We just felt pity for you for the scary movies and all that.
Oh, okay. By the way, I remember seeing a fan theory a while back that those two kids there, that one of them in this universe grows up to become Miles Morales.
Miles Morales wasn't even a conceptual character until after the third Spider-Man
I know.
movie
That's why I'm like, it's
The,
like
the budget to the
Where are you guys at? I'm at where Bruce Campbell is.
No, Spider-Man just has the car webbed up. The police car's about to flip and hit everybody.
Yeah, please, yeah.
I think he just froze, Aaron.
I mean,
He's making his first appearance as Spider-Man. Yeah.
I think
You know,
Aaron, I think he just froze.
the stunt that you've just seen there, where obviously he
Oh.
flipped over the car.
Yeah.
That was actually him doing the stunt.
The
They chose that one over the stunt man, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Two.
But, Aaron, you were in the middle of something before you froze. Shit, I think she froze again. Aaron just keeps getting screwed these last 2 days with the StreamYard.
I think it might be our internet, mind you, Brad. She was saying that she had problems in the area.
Yeah. What we can do with.
I'm paused where Bruce Campbell is, so just tell me when you guys are at there.
Okay.
Up
Yeah,
there.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
I'll let
because
you know.
this series also, because it's Sam Raimi, they just have the Stan Lee cameos.
He just
Bruce Campbell cameos.
he just is getting his jacket on. He's walking through. The cop is giving him shit. Chevy.
Okay, just tow it. I don't care. It's not mine.
All right. It's Bruce Campbell. He's tying his shoes.
Hey, listen. Say what you will about Spider-Man 3. The best Bruce Campbell cameo in the series is when he's the maitre d' at the French restaurant.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, the French.
Because that's where Peter's going to propose, and they're coordinating this plot to put the ring in the champagne glass. And it's like, okay, come now. Oh no, wait, guys, go back and come again. Yeah, and he actually had a pretty good cameo too in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
I like the other two better.
This host is such a dick too. Yeah, I mean, he's going out of his way to be an asshole.
Doing his job, though. I mean, you don't want.
No, but he's doing
Oh,
the
Oh, we lost that one.
Oh, didn't hear.
God, this woman has like the worst thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. They managed to have like an in-universe way to have the Spider-Man theme worked in. Because he had the one guy on the
Superman T-shirts.
Yeah, because you had the one guy on the guitar in the subway in the first one.
Or like other superhero shows, somebody's like ringtone will be their theme song or something. Like it's usually something like that. You know?
They also have the Kirsten Dunst tight dress scene in each one of these.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah.
She is stunning, mind you. She's absolutely stunning.
She's very cold in the tight dressed episodes, by the way.
You trying to give everybody a heads up on chapter?
Oh, the tight dress
that
happens in the cafe.
Oh, you mean the cafe when Doc Ock has to
the big scene,
the car,
yeah.
Which this movie's awesome, but it's like he wasn't really thinking ahead there, and he said, "Okay, I have to get Peter Parker to get Spider-Man, so I'm going to kidnap her to do it, and my way I'm going to lead him out and pitch a car at them."
I'm going to pull Brad the spoiler for those who might not, but they have the famous Spider-Man No More comic book cover in here.
They recreate that, yeah. And we lost Aaron too. Hopefully, yep. Okay, I think she's coming back in right now. No, and this is I remember too.
My back. Isn't this a gag? He actually fucked his back up.
Well,
when he was filming the movie, and so they played it.
He
played it into this.
No, it was when he did Seabiscuit between the
Oh.
So and that's when they weren't sure if he was going to be able to return. So that's when they almost Jake Gyllenhaal was almost Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2.
I
Oh, yeah, I
I
remember
honestly
that.
think that would have been a mistake, though. Like, I think that would have really hurt that
That
movie.
is wild.
So,
That is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you
and then while 15 years later, he goes on to be Mysterio.
yeah.
Can you imagine Jake Gyllenhaal playing Spider-Man though? Just thinking about it.
Yeah,
I think
like,
he would have been good. I think
Yeah,
he
but
really
do you
could have
think
done it.
that the audience would have accepted it, or you think they would have turned on it?
Turned on it, I think.
You
I
never
think that
know. I
movie-
mean,
'cause I
if
think
the
that movie
movie,
would've
if
bombed,
people
and
were a
then they
lot less touchy and they were a lot less
Yeah,
spoiled
yeah.
with superhero movies back then. So if the movie would have been fine, people probably would have went with it because that happened with Terrence Howard. I mean, he's not the main character, but it happened with Terrence Howard and Iron Man. Nobody really said anything when Don Cheadle showed up.
but
They
that,
made
yeah,
a
but
little
he's
joke
not the
about
main
it in the movie.
character. I'm talking about with like,
I understand what you're saying, Chappie. I'm just using that as a proximate an example by proximity. But
Yeah,
the point is, I don't think it's as big of a deal, especially back then because we had less content available to us. I think people would have just been happy to go check it out and see what happened.
Yeah.
What happened.
Well,
And
plus
if the movie was good, I think it would have been fine.
If the movie and story are good, doesn't matter who's playing it.
Right.
This also wasn't, this wasn't a malicious. It wouldn't have been a malicious thing, or it wouldn't have been
Right.
like a.
And you're coming right off of a time where they recast Batman 2 times in 10 years, 4 years or something like that. So this is not like so far away from the Batman movies. So
it would have been like other recent recastings that people are still upset about because
Like
again,
Henry Cavill?
it would have stemmed from an injury. Yeah.
I'm sure you
and again, just like I said, Brett, even with that and it's all in context, we had less. You get fucking maybe one superhero movie a year, maybe 2. So you're not going to complain. Like I hate X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3, and I went to both of those movies multiple times. You know what I'm saying?
Spider-Man 3 ain't that bad.
Well,
I know you're going to say that, Chappie. As Spider-Man, I'm going to disagree fully, but
okay.
Like this year had 04. It had Spider-Man as far as CBMs. There was Spider-Man 2. There was Catwoman, and there was Blade Trinity. So
and a Pixar movie, if we want to count that.
I don't hate Blade Trinity because I have my whole Blade. Like
same here,
in the
man.
Blade series, vampires took over the whole world. They were running the world basically from behind the scenes in the first movie. Then he had them down to a building in the second movie, and then in the third movie, he had them down to like 4 or 5 people, and they had to go get Dracula. So like, Blade's storyline is a story of success and not futility. Really, if you look at it.
I mean, it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I'm not saying the movie's that good, but it's definitely
It's not. But Ryan Reynolds has a couple funny lines in the movie,
But
so.
I'm just saying, like, it's one of those like guilty pleasure movies that I can watch and I can pop in and like have fun with it. So yeah, it's definitely a guilty pleasure. But would anyone count The Incredibles? Does that count as CBS?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that came out this year too, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out the same year. Incredibles. Yeah.
Not a TBM though.
Yeah,
It's a
Thank you, William.
movie, but-
Thank you. That's the same as calling Avatar an anime. It's nothing wrong with Avatar.
It's inspired.
Incredibles is not a comic book.
It's inspired, but it's not.
It's a superhero movie. Not a
it's a superhero movie. It's all.
I mean, it's a great one.
Like Sky High.
My brother made me watch that at least over 5 times at the theater to watch the
What, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
So do you like it? You big fan?
It's not me that
He
was
is
a fan.
now.
It was,
No. I'm saying if you watched it 5 times after all that, are you a fan now? You got it like is it near and dear to your heart still?
well, I wasn't a fan at first, but then it took over time.
Okay.
It's definitely my favorite Pixar movie. So
Okay.
I know there was a video game to go alongside it. So
Yeah.
By the way, going back to the history.
Let's see.
Deep thoughts with Aaron. What's going on?
Toy Story is fine.
What was that, Aaron?
Is there sound working today, or is she? Sure?
No, it is.
I think there's just a bit of a delay, because we're thousands of miles away. Yeah, just a tad.
She's from down under.
And by the way, going a little bit of trivia on this, and I don't know how true this is. I think but there might be some veracity to this because they did sort of play on this with the Green Goblin and Doc Ock and No Way Home. But I remember reading that for the first one, there was some consideration that it was going to have Green Goblin and Doc Ock both in it. Then they decided against that and said, okay, we'll just do Green Goblin for the first one, then Doc Ock in the second one. But then
do you feel like that would have been crammed if they would have done it, or do you think they would have made it multi-pronged?
I
and
think that
had
would have
like
made it
a
very
saga.
different because if you're doing two villains and the Spidey origin story, then you like fundamentally you would need to structure
Because
that differently.
look, they're
Well,
taking their
wasn't,
time with setting Doc Ock up right now, and they did the same with setting up
well,
Green Goblin. You'd have to condense that and set up Peter's story all in the same movie, you know?
Yeah.
well, wait. Well, so sorry. What I was gonna say, like, wasn't Black Cat gonna be in it at one point? Like one
Oh,
of
that
the,
would have
one
been
of the
cool.
yeah,
Well,
like
they
in one of
probably
the
it was probably
yeah,
like
like one of the
just an idea
drafts, they
thrown
actually
about, but
had Black Cat as one of the villains, and then they kind of cut her out at the last.
And I'm annoyed we've never seen Black Cat other than just Felicia Hardy showing up in an
Same
Oscorp
here,
board
man. I
meeting
want my
with
Black
Amazing
Cat.
Spider-Man 2 so far.
You know what? I've been dying to see a Black Cat movie, even though I know it will probably be shit though. But I still want to see it as like a.
What's great about these arms on him?
I would like a Black Cat movie.
Yeah,
it's all practical effect, not not CGI.
Yeah, they really.
So-
when the tentacles when they extend to like 40 feet out, I mean, that's when they do get CGI when they're fighting Spider-Man and things like that. But
No, Brad, that's real technology. That's one of the real Dr. Octopus's original harnesses. Back when I was a teenager, I took him down, before he switched up his thing, so they used that for a prop.
Guess what? He actually named his tentacles, and they were
Oh, yeah, I
called
remember reading
Larry, Harry, Flo, and Mo. Is that cool?
Are those the ghosts from Pac-Man? No? Never mind.
They're like the Three Stooges and like one other guy.
Hey, so William, what do you think about as far as just compared to his comic book iterations? Dr. Octopus's mind being controlled by, I know the chip inhibits, but when the chip leaves, the AI in the arms take control of his mind. What did you think about that interpretation of how Otto Octavius, the great mind in Marvel Comics?
I thought it was fine because the character in the comics was not going to transfer over to
right, for sure. But I was just curious because you never saw it that way, where the arms took it over.
Well, in the comics, they really emphasize much more, and they do this in the animated series too, where they emphasize the mad scientist kind of.
Yeah, no, he's a fucking insane genius. Yeah, for sure. He's not Mr. Fantastic, but he's on that level,
What was that, William?
Isn't she entangled? His wife? Is that the same?
I couldn't tell you, man. I need to look that up.
No, but they made the right decision for that. Because like I said, if it was a cartoon, maybe, but an actual live action, they made the right decisions to shift the.
Well, just like they streamlined the organic webbing instead of having the web shooters to take that bit of explanation. Now they've since in the next two iterations of Spider-Man bothered with it, but.
Well, that was a James Cameron idea at first. That was in his original script.
Really? If you haven't read too, if you haven't checked out like what all his ideas for his Spider-Man that never happened, give that a look because that sounds crazy what he was going to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he has it was like
kind of happy that movie never happened.
He was pushing the envelope with stuff with Spider-Man. If you like,
he was going for a way it all right because he would have had him have sex with Mary Jane and like.
Well, it had enough. It was like 1 inch away from like an R because it was just based on the profanity alone.
Yeah.
So.
That almost did happen if it wasn't for Malcolm. If you didn't get pissed off at the company, we probably would have seen that back in the 90s. But yeah, I'm kind of happy we eventually got this one instead.
Yeah, they would have shut that down because they weren't gonna go that far with Spider-Man because of the wide appeal of the character.
Yeah, but didn't Stan Lee write the script? Because apparently he loved the script. So.
Well, they didn't do the screenplay was not Stan Lee. The script kind of middle ground.
Yeah. The screenplay that would have been forwarded to the corporate, they would have never gone for that, and they never could have.
William, I've got a question. Obviously, out of your comic characters, is Spider-Man out of your comic book characters?
One person at a time. One person at a time. Go ahead, Ruth.
So, out of your comic book characters, like your comics. Is Spider-Man quite, like sort of very popular where you are? Do you sell a lot of those comics to people?
Not as Peter Parker. Not as Peter Parker. Of Miles Morales Spider-Man. So it's Spider-Man, yes, but not the traditional one that we're watching right now.
Hey, Aaron, you mentioned she's going out and come back in.
That's a brutal death scene. It's a focus.
Yeah, Raimi. Oh, and what's about to happen too with in the Doc Ock kind of like birth scene. That's Raimi going Evil Dead. Okay. So yeah. Aaron, this is the angle you saw from last night. So yeah, you might be having some. Again, it might just be an international thing. But yeah, you're having a little bit of issues last night too.
Yeah, I reckon it. Yeah, what Vince said last night that 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 Twitch is messing up Australia at the moment, and Twitch and StreamYard are like fighting with each other.
Oh god. Yeah, they
It's like
got
a
well.
Mortal Kombat situation.
Need to resolve that because it's like screwing up bringing Aaron into our live streams. Not doing that. Not doing that stream.
So, given that we're talking about Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man in particular, in more recent times, we had the Superior Spider-Man. Any love for the storyline of the Superior Spider-Man at all?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So, for those who don't know, Superior Spider-Man is Dr. Octopus does some through comic book antics, does a mind swap and takes over Peter Parker's body, and stays a hero, but then improves upon his designs. And we talk about Dr. Octopus being a mad scientist. It kind of plays into that with his Spider-Man persona.
With like a blink of the eye, you can actually see that like John Landis is actually one of the hospitals about to get the hospital nurses that actually gets attacked by the robot arms.
Okay.
Did you
Well,
know
yeah,
that?
like as everybody kind of points out, like this is kind of Raimi bringing a little bit of his Evil Dead, DNA into Spider-Man.
that's quite
It's
a-
just a full-blown like horror movie scene.
There was a little bit of that in Multiverse of Madness too when Wanda was on her rampage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that part.
That's what made it reminded when I was watching that movie. It reminded me of this scene.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I wonder why people complain about this being too violent, though. I think it's perfect.
I've never heard that.
I haven't either.
Yeah, no. Some people felt way too violent for this, but I'm like, you guys are losers.
I've never heard anyone complain about it ever, Chappie. So you must live in a different world.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed. It's all practical effects.
Yeah, what they do with the tentacles is pretty impressive. Yeah.
All of this is both CGI and practical effects mixed together, right?
Well, if it's like him climbing up the side of a building, then yeah, that is CGI.
Yeah, but like all of this in the hospital, this is all like
puppetry.
CGI, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not CGI. It's practical.
Practical. It's practical.
Yeah.
God, that's impressive.
I think personally, if they'd had that wood chopper from the In a Violent Nature in this movie, it might have obviously worked well. It couldn't.
That movie was horrible, wasn't it, Ruth? I didn't miss anything, huh?
It was a horror watching it. I felt a horror. It was.
They just forgot to make it a horror movie. That's all. They forgot the movie part. It was just a horror.
This is so good.
It was just general.
Yeah,
pain.
there were. It was very, very disappointing, that movie. Very disappointing.
You've just summed
Which
it up.
movie we're talking about?
In a Violent Nature.
Well, you know how I pointed out in Man of Steel and Justice League how there's comic book-esque shots. There's a lot of that going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
That one right there
with the shot through the broken cab window.
When he looks behind him and the tentacle pops
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Again, it's a masterly directed right here.
Yeah. That like we was pointing out earlier. That's the Flatiron Building in New York. That's a real building and gets used for a lot of different things. Used for the deal. It's also the Continental in the John Wick franchise.
Okay. Fair.
Oh,
Right.
is it?
Yeah.
So I said, Bruce, you see it a lot. You see it a lot when you're watching American media.
So can
by
you
the way,
visit it? Obviously, if you go there.
Yeah. By the way, this is when this is the Doctor Strange reference that became
that's
prescient. Yeah, that's pretty good, but it's taken, and then he ends up making a Doctor Strange movie later on.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
The practical effects are so good that the CGI looks like crap.
What you
in this movie? Not when he's web swinging around and stuff. It doesn't look so bad.
Yeah,
it's not like modern times. It doesn't look bad.
CGI still holds up, Quint. I don't know.
Well,
There hasn't been much CGI yet. Wait till he climbs on the side of the building. You'll see the difference.
Gotcha. I'll be on the lookout. Do you know who the third unit director of CGI was, Clint? Can we hold them accountable or responsible?
Oh wait, here it comes. Here
Hubert
comes.
Adams.
Wait, guys, wait. Here it comes. Here it is. The epic Jameson laugh.
You serious? It's so funny.
Oh, who hasn't used that GIF at least once?
No, I've seen that in a lot of YouTube streams.
Yeah. And I remember also reading maybe this played into why Molina, gave nicknames to all of the tentacles is because he's talking to the tentacles, so they had
got to mute their back.
Second.
Somebody's audio's leaking.
I run on mute most of the time, so it's not me.
My audio is not even on.
Yeah, who's this at?
Spider-Man.
Was it me?
Yeah, I think I might have been you.
Yeah.
Good now?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Wait. I remember reading it. Molina nicknamed all of the. This might have played into that. He nicknamed all the tentacles, but also, because he's talking to them, they actually scripted lines for each of the tentacles to say to him, so that when he replies, it's like he can do it like it's a natural conversation. So the tentacles say, "You have to, start the experiment up again." It's like, "No, I miscalculated," but it's like, "No, you couldn't have. It was working. I'm not a criminal, but the real crime would be not to go through with it."
Interesting.
Yeah. That's really dug too. The one tentacle when like comes up to his head and it goes like, it does that like it's like, "Hey, I'm talking to you."
Right, an interesting question. If you could only save one Spider-Man film, what would it be?
That's a good question, though.
Spider-Man 2.
I'd probably save No Way Home because you need all the other ones to have No Way Home. So by saving No Way Home, I'm saving all of them. So checkmate.
Okay. This is a great movie, Ruth, and the first one is an excellent movie. I would still, above those two, I would take Amazing too.
Yeah, I will.
His suit looks better. Everybody hates Jamie Foxx's Electro. I'll give you that, but he is playing Max Dillon.
I mean,
the way he fights in the movie, he talks shit. You get the Gwen Stacy storyline. You see a better version of Harry Osborn as the Hobgoblin, doing a little bit of Ultimate Goblin with Norman Osborn. They were going to set up Sinister Six. All that aside, the movie itself was really good. And when you're seeing Spider-Man in action, he's probably fighting and moving the way you would see him the most in the context of the comics. Like, these movies are early and they're well-made movies, so I don't want to take anything away from them. But that movie gives you that. And then Andrew Garfield is personally my favorite Peter Parker Spider-Man. And he plays the character in the costume well. Tobey Maguire doesn't really have the shit-talking element. And Andrew Garfield plays it up, but he doesn't overdo it, right? He's not trying. It doesn't overstay its welcome. So I think the wit and all that is great. But there are scenes in this movie, like the bank robbery right now, that are just excellent. So I don't really. It's close for me, but I do like Amazing 2, probably the best of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, same here. I love Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I would say, out of all the Spider-Man movies, I think it's by far the best looking and most visual to look at.
Yeah, and the suit looks really good in the movie compared to the first one.
When you watch it like in 3D, like at your house, like that's like probably one of the best 3D movies I've owned.
And you, Ruth, how about you?
Topher Grace was cast except for Tobey Maguire.
I don't know if that's what you said, Aaron, but I always, after I saw Spider-Man 3, I thought that Topher Grace would have been a great Peter Parker. Exactly. If that's what you're saying, I agree with that totally.
I don't think so. I think he was. I think Tobey Maguire was better.
If you ever watch the '70s show and you hear Eric talking shit, it gives you a little, it would have been nice to see that in a costume. You see how he did it. He's lanky and all that. So So, Clint, is this the bad CGI part that you're trying to get us to watch?
I think it's pretty good.
When he's riding on the side of the building, you'll see how bad it is.
Okay. I'm on the lookout. That was Joe McHale, by the way, from Community, stealing the coin.
That was before when Joe McHale was famous. Just like when he was at the background actor.
You still have to see it a little. I don't know if he was
how,
famous, but he had that show on E for like years when this came out.
You also had Emily Emily Deschanel in this, who's in both.
Mm-hmm. She's in the beginning, yeah. She's the secretary at the pizza delivery.
We talk about like shows that got screwed up by Fox. At least Bones was one of the few shows that actually ran its course. That actually got finished its season up really well. So.
Brad,
Guys,
Dr. Octopus looking to the side from the rear there. That's one of those shots I'm telling you about. Before he grabbed Aunt May.
Yeah.
So we've got, I think, is it Brucifer from Kingdom of Nerds? Is that correct, Claudia?
Sorry?
He's in the from Kingdom of Nerds in the chat.
Oh,
Brucifer.
Brucifer. What's going on, Brucifer?
What's up,
We've also got Antonio in the chat as well.
That's his favorite of Spider-Man too. It's definitely up there, yeah. Oh yeah, and this is where they kick off this one.
There's your Stanley cameo.
They also kick off this tradition. The Spidey, fighting one of the villains like as they're falling from a building or something. That we first saw that happen here, and they do that with Sandman and Venom in 3, and they kind of done some very on that.
Where did Manchester Reloaded and Revolutions come out, Brad? Was it before and after this, or both of those came out before this?
Revolution.
They were both 03.
2003. Okay, so year before this. So after the first Spider-Man.
6 months after each other.
Yep. Summer and Christmas.
What's up, Droga?
What's up, Droga?
How's it going, Mr. Droga?
Hey, Droga.
Yes,
Droga says it's peak Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, can't argue that, man.
So, Nerd, are you a Spider-Man fan? Do you have an answer for Ruth's? Which one would you keep if you could only keep one?
I think you stepped away to feed the pup.
Got it.
I really liked No Way Home. That to me it kind of resolved a lot of the issues of the other movies.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say No Way Home, because it's like you can't have No Way Home without having all of them. So by saving No Way Home, I'm saving all of them. So there we go.
I would say that's my favorite, mind you. I do like that movie.
Well, because again, it's
those
a real
two girls standing next to each other was my favorite scene just now.
Well, we actually got conclusion from both Spider-Man movies. So Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3, for that was also a nice touch-up to it.
Well, also even Amazing too. It's like because as Spidey pointed out, like Jamie Foxx's Electro was not really well received and Amazing too. But then it's like they just totally won.
They gave him a second kind of shot at it. Yeah, it looked a lot better. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Even though I didn't actually mind his blue outfit though. I actually thought it was pretty cool.
No, that was I think it was more the characterization and kind of this person is really
Yeah.
I didn't mind him because he kind of reminded me of Ultimate Electro a little bit.
Yeah.
How they did him, but I didn't care. Like Electro's not the hill I'm going to die on of my villains, so it didn't super matter.
He was kind of a cross between Jim Carrey's The Widower and Syndrome. Like he was kind of acting like that nerdy type.
He was when he was before he was the Riddler, when he was just Enigma when he was goofy at the back. That's a good comparison. That's perfect, actually.
I was I kind of dug Harry's nickname for Spidey here. He also calls him the Bug in it because he has vendetta with Spider-Man.
Do you think they're gonna actually? Are they like? Have they like spoken about bringing any more sort of Spider-Man films out? Or
Supposedly, we're filming Spider-Man 4, the Holland Spider-Man 4 in November. Begins filming, but
I wonder why
hasn't
it's
started yet.
taking so long.
Yeah, yeah.
COVID, probably reshoots, probably them trying to get their story together.
Like
Disney
they still
Plus.
haven't found. Yeah, but they
Well,
still
it's a
haven't found a
disagreement
director.
between.
So.
It's a disagreement with how the story is going to go between Sony and Marvel Studios, and since Sony has the final say, they have to work those issues out before they can go forward in production.
Making all the money they were making with Disney and otherwise.
They want to make a different type of Spider-Man movie, and Feige wants to make a different kind. I say that both answers are right. Sony needs to go ahead and do their own thing and let and not try to try to latch on to Holland Spider-Man. They have Spider-Man that people want to see. Make those movies.
Wolfman cameo, by the way. Jameson the third is a Wolfman. The Wolfman. Go ahead. I'm sorry, William.
Yeah, that's why you haven't gotten Spider-Man film right now.
As you said, fine.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but still, I would think even with all that kind of a red tape to cut through, I mean, like No Way Home is like I think it's like the 6th biggest movie ever made. So it's like, I mean,
that should make fuck ton of money. And it was in the theater. It's probably most recently.
They're not losing any money by waiting. So they're not. I mean, Sony's not going to lose a dime by waiting. Whatever movie comes out, it's going to make its money, and Disney's not under any pressure to yield to anybody's demand because they know when the movie comes out, it's going to make money, even if it's 2 years from now.
I was remember when they had kind of their brief split up right after Far From Home came out, and the internet was just losing its mind, and I was sitting back watching like, you guys really think this is going to be like a long-term thing, that they're not going to like sit down and break bread again and like get this worked out? It's like, of course this isn't.
No, it was a real possibility. It was a real possibility. Yeah. And if you'd have had better management in Sony, if you'd have had stronger management in Sony, it would have gone down that way. And eventually, it's going to happen.
Still wanting Sony at the time, right?
Yeah, it's eventually it's going to there's going to come a day when they do take their character back, and it's going to probably be mutual, because there's only so many Spider-Man movies you can do with MCU to where it fits. They don't, neither side, like I said, it is.
Spider-Man is like one of the main characters in Marvel Comics, though, so you could always have Spider-Man. He literally goes in everybody's book. Spider-Man and Wolverine show up in everybody's book.
But you went 8 years without him, and
I understand what you're saying, but you can always fit Spidey in somewhere.
You don't have to. It's not a.
I understand. Yeah.
So you don't have to, and when you don't have to do something, your negotiating leverage is a lot less than if it's like, okay, we have to have this guy and this character. The leverage, like I said, if I was running Sony, I would be a lot harsher with the deals, as far as like, we're gonna do our own thing eventually. You can have this Holland iteration, but the problem with Sony's management is like I said last night, they are too caught up in Kevin Feige's atmosphere to do their own thing. What he's doing with the character, right, for his iteration of the character, they need to do something different, and they don't want to, and that's their problem, and that's why
it sounds like they're doing this Spider-Man War show. So do you think that might be the step in the right direction if it's a success?
Yeah.
I'm ambivalent right now, so I don't know anything about it, but that sounds like that's exactly what you're prescribing. So.
Well, they need to understand that they have people under their employ, not Disney's or Marvel's, that make Spider-Man stories. One of them has an Academy Award. Lord Miller have an Academy Award for what they did with Spider-Man.
I wonder why don't you put them in charge of the movies?
I think eventually it's going to happen. I think eventually that will happen. Right now they're doing all the they're going to be in charge of all the animated stuff like that. But I think eventually, after Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, the pressure to put them in charge of everything is going to be heavy, and I don't think that it's going to be resisted.
By the way, the whole
how would they get? Go on.
Well, go ahead now, because I'm going to have a little bit of a monologue on that. So go ahead and ask your question, Aaron.
I said, how would Disney and Marvel Studios reclaim the rights to Spider-Man from Sony?
They never will.
No, get that out.
sell it.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman are the most popular superheroes in the world.
Like to any,
They'll always keep making money on Spider.
Sony owns the motion picture and animation and big screen theatrical rights to the character. And unless there's a meteorite headed towards, Marvel's not going to offer them the money because they don't need to. The current deal that Marvel has with Sony is all they need. They don't need to own the character anymore. Sony's never going to sell the character because the IP makes them too much money. And whoever sells that IP back to anybody is going to literally, it would be stopped. 2, if it happened, that person would be fired and blacklisted from Hollywood. So no, I don't think the status quo will ever change. I don't think Marvel will ever, because the price that Sony would charge would be more than Marvel would ever need to pay for an IP that they're currently having use of now. So this is probably going to be a permanent situation. It's one of those rare things that, like I said, you had a company going under that was literally weeks away from bankruptcy, and this is how they were able to hold on to long enough to get back on their horse again.
Yeah.
People crap on the early 2000s movies, but if it wasn't for Marvel selling those properties, then you would not have had your MCU. I'm sorry.
Well, there would be
a lot of them. Yeah.
Marvel was
literally Marvel was.
Michael
24 days
Jackson was
away.
going to buy Marvel. That's how cheap they were back in the day. Right?
So do you think, speaking on that, do you think that we'll ever, in this era of the opposite, the competition, DC, if you will, do you foresee that they'd sell off individual, not their big 3, but do you think they'd sell off smaller heroes or B-listers or D-listers, maybe C-listers, and let somebody else run with, or license it, not sell it, maybe license it off to a different thing? What is that? I see that's going to be a heavy future of DC is the licensing aspect. I don't see them ever completely selling the IP. They would license it, and I think that's the way for them to go in most of these cases because they're not on the hook. So for instance, DCU doesn't, somebody comes in and takes over management and decides they don't want to be on the hook for these movies, but they just want to be the distributor and they want to be the licensee where it's all profit. You could see a situation to where you still get Warner Brothers distributing DC movies, but they're not the ones putting the cash up. They're not the ones at risk of losing money. Okay. So with that idea in mind, in Amazon as an example, you have Amazon right now adapting things from multiple different comic book companies, not just the big 2, but all different types of comic book companies. And they retain licensing rights for a lot of that. I think the Batman one they just picked. You see what I'm saying? Like, or they'll co-produce things with Sony, Amazon Studios, or whatever to get their fingerprint on it. With that type of licensing arrangement, not that it's hopeful or anything for me, but do you see a Batman Spider-Man crossover show or movie or anything like that? Would they be able to get away with that? Because that's something they could uniquely offer within their realm. You see what I'm saying?
But ever since the mid '90s. It wasn't looked upon as something that anybody would ever want to do again. That was actually a disaster. That was the amalgam.
Well, I know, when they tried amalgam and then they tried the JLA, what was the JL Avengers or whatever. That was
It was widely considered a disaster that people still remember as if it was yesterday. So
but then you have the Batman Spider-Man Frank Miller thing they did, and the Batman Spawn and the Spider-Man Spawn. You see the little one-offs like that. You see something like that from Amazon?
No.
Like a 5-episode special thing like that or something? No. Okay.
No, because
but do you think they'd have the freedom to do something like that, whether or not it's popular?
Yeah, you just because you can do something probably doesn't necessarily mean you would. And I think the company's regard for their individual IPs is as such that they would never want to have it dictated a way that way. In the 90s when they did it was desperate.
Guys, real quick, now just interject. This is the as
Spider-Man No More,
the iconic recreation of that comics cover.
And that's a panel too, where he's holding it over the trash can. That's a panel. This is the cover.
This is the cover.
Yeah, this is the cover. Yeah.
And it's and they make it, the fact they make the eyes just kind of linger there a little bit longer. It really, even though you saw this in the trailers and the marketing, it really, it's still it
holds up. It's not a.
So, and one thing I was also going to mention a minute ago is the whole kind of subplot here of Peter, with his powers failing. And I wonder if anybody else had this thought when they first saw this, because of course I had followed Spider-Man the animated series pretty closely as a kid, and this didn't quite play out the same way in the comics, but the way they had a similar thing in the animated series where his powers start failing, and that's he goes to Dr. Connors, and he tells him this is like the next phase of your mutation, and that sets him up turning into the Man Spider. So I remember the first time I saw this,
the Punisher had to go after his ass. Frank Castle, and we got a Punisher movie right after that. Brad, you were stoked. You were stoked. You thought it was gonna happen.
No, really. I remember seeing like all this thing, like, oh, they're setting up. He's gonna turn into the Man Spider. So I wonder what we need to see that at some point. They
did that backwards in the comics. I don't know if it was before Civil War or after. You got to get William on this, but they had where he was mutated and he ended up getting natural organic webbing, and this was as he was transforming into a different variant of the Man Spider. Like he would shed his skin. He had different powers for a while.
Oh,
that was when he had the retractable arms, right before the spider armor, right, William?
Yeah, that wasn't a memorable moment there. So.
Man, I want a hot dog now.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had they called them on the animated series. They called them the Insidious Six because they had, and this will probably annoy William.
Something about Sinister couldn't be used or something, right?
Well, yeah, because it was also on Fox Kids, just like Batman the animated series was. So they had. I've actually read a lot of these rules that they had.
Spider-Man can only kick people and not punch people. The first season, the first season of Batman, he doesn't punch either. It's they kind of lax it out later. Yeah, it's crazy.
He uppercuts that one dude.
You can't say kill, you got to say destroy. So people are always trying to destroy you.
I wish I could have been at that meeting and thrown those people out of the window.
The censors? Yeah.
Whoever said, let's go ahead and make a Spider-Man cartoon with these rules. What the fuck?
I remember also there was
all
also
the Spider-Man guns had Vince on the side. The Batman does at least look like it.
This seems so arbitrary too. There's this one rule they had where it's like when he swings onto how's it going, Phil Junkie? When he swings or when he's swinging around the city, and he like goes from like one ledge to another. One rule was when he lands on another ledge, he can't hurt any pigeons. So it's like
I believe it.
But it's like
there was recycled animation on that show too. Every time they had anything to deal with DNA, they got the Neogenic Recombinator animation from Dr. Kirk Connors. I played it in the Venom shit. I played it in the Secret Wars. I played it in the fucking Mordo and Dormammu and fucking Doctor Strange. They use that shit all the time.
Yeah. When you have to start applying rules like that, then you probably should just stop.
But that's why it all evolved into something like Batman Beyond, because it was just such a great show, William. And then you get that excellent flick, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. You should definitely check it out one time. It's a masterpiece.
But it's funny how you
90s animation. So I'm gonna have to adjust the ban list too, because I remember all this bullshit. And I remember, and they didn't even have the only rule you had in like Spider-Man
alienate your target market. Ban list 101.
You had less restrictions than like with Iceman and Firestar and Spider-Man in the 80s than you did in the 90s.
Are you talking about Spider-Man and his amazing friends?
Something happened in the 90s. The pussification just went like, we can't do this. We can't do that.
Corners, the Power Rangers violence ban. Yeah, they did try to ban violence on Power Rangers.
That's like
which was a pretty violent show, by the way. I mean, by comparison.
That's like doing
Tipper Gore.
Yeah,
it's the Tipper Gore era.
One at a time. What's that now, Spidey?
It's the Tipper Gore era, the parental advisory sticker and all that, that era.
Yeah,
soft corners. Everybody gets an award for participation kind of thing. Everybody got a trophy. That was that time.
Standards of, but yeah, once again, just like last night, once you start making so many steps to where you have to transform the character, just do another character.
Yeah, exactly. I've always kind of thought that too. Playing knockoffs anyway, so make your own version or make your own story of it. Yeah.
That's kind of like Ninja Turtles and like Secret of the Ooze. Without the Ninja Turtles using no weapons, they actually use toys or something.
Bloomingdale's, is that even a store anymore? That's a Bloomingdale's bag.
I think
Bloomingdale's out of business.
I think they might have closed. I could be wrong there.
Bloomingdale's is gone.
It's funny how you guys. it's funny how you guys talked about like the mutated spider because like wasn't like Canon Films at one point going to make a Spider-Man movie? Well,
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
it was just going to be like a horror movie. Like it was going to be like directed by like Toby Hooper, and it would have been like about like the man, like the mutated like spider
Well,
monster.
I don't know about all that, but they were going to, and then
Yeah,
the
that was the original pitch,
failure
though.
of Superman 4: The Quest for Peace kind of killed that. So.
Yeah.
I really like this part too, where Robbie holds the mask because it's actually something I would have liked to have seen a little bit more in the Raimi movies. They didn't get the chance to do this too much, but I think it would have been cool because Jameson obviously he's really known for really being Spider-Man's harshest critic in the media, but then you always had the kind of the other side of that Robbie Robertson, he's the biggest advocate within the Daily Bugle, and you see that here and there with Robbie kind of having debates with Jameson, but it's like I kind of would like if they had gone a little bit further with that.
And even Robbie like holding the mask, he still has that connection that he feels Spider-Man's a hero more than a mass vigilante. So
yeah.
Brad, have you ever played Spider-Man PS4, the first one?
For PS4? No,
the first one they made, the not this one that just came out, but the first one that came out before.
Yeah, the first one I have not. No. So I really wanted to do that because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
If you ever get a chance, you might have to put that in your conversations of best Spider-Man movies.
We just came
out. The story in that game is a great Spider-Man story if you're a fan. It's excellent.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about the last couple Spider-Man games, and because that's also that's a focus on.
I like the new one a lot. Not everybody does. I mess with the new one, but the first one is a great Spider-Man story. If you ever have a chance.
Yeah, I need to give that a look. What
are your thoughts on Spider-Gwen?
Spider-Gwen.
I think Spider-Gwen's cool. I like Spider-Gwen.
What are your thoughts on Spider-Gwen?
Yeah, William. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Spider-Gwen. Yeah.
Oh, I love that character. That character.
I do too.
That character's money.
She's cool.
That character is
Parker is the Dr. Connors of her universe. That's cool how that whole thing went down. That's cool.
I don't like the post when they consolidated everything, and remember how she was able to come up. She was unique in the way she was able to come back and over, and then they kind of like watered down that storyline a little bit. But but the character itself sells. It's a cool seller.
Are you aware of Gwenpool, and what do you think of Gwenpool? Given that you like Spider-Gwen, you like Gwenpool?
Either one of them. I mean, I'm not as attached to the character narratively wise, but sales wise, they do well.
This part.
So is it going to be
Who
more
knew that?
downward?
Marvel didn't know they had a treasure in Gwen Stacy when they killed her off. Go ahead.
So is it going to be more downward spiral in the Game of Thrones tonight?
Well, the whole Dance of the Dragons is the downward spiral, and so it's the whole thing is just a tragic, a turd circling the drain for another 6 episodes because it's a civil war. They're literally killing family members. It's just like any civil war, like the American Civil War, when it's brother against brother. They're killing everybody who's dying. Is kin, his family, and that's But I'm pretty sure, like I said, one thing I can guarantee is Alicent is going to get hers. I'll put money on that right now. Her and Kristen Cole are going to do it.
Man, I like Sir Christian Cole, man.
Hey, he's taking advantage. He's going after that.
He's moving up. He's moving up the ladder of chaos, William.
What did you say?
I said, "Is there loads of sex in this series?" Because I know that I didn't watch obviously the first.
Well, from one person, one particular.
Sir Christian Cole's getting it in. Alicent and Sir Christian Cole get it in. Yeah.
So far, all the sex has been confined.
And the Targaryens getting in with each other, and they're all doing their Targaryen thing. So there's that. So.
But Spidey, is there any ice pole dancing?
There is no ice pole. There's pole dancing on ice. They do pole dancing on water skis on that one. So. What's going on, William? Feel a little stressed?
No, I'm doing multiple things at once right now, trying to get ready for things.
Okay. Are you they're supposed to be coming in tomorrow?
It's probably 500 degrees.
That's what I say. Yeah, they're coming in tomorrow to hook you up with the air, right?
Yeah, they'll be in there in the morning, but I got the cooler. I'm fine right now. I just got to I'm setting things up for my post show for Game of Thrones while I'm doing this one.
did you
I got
guys
like
There's
10.
rumors that that Ryan Reynolds' wife is going to be in the Deadpool movie.
What did you say?
In Deadpool.
I said, there's rumors that Ryan Reynolds' wife will be in the next
Oh, in the next Deadpool?
Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah. And they'll probably make some more Green Lantern jokes out of that too, if he is.
I did want to see him and Hannibal King together in Secret Wars. That would be a dream to actually come true. Because Hannibal King technically was the inspiration for why he got the role of Deadpool, so that would be kind of funny. But who knows?
Yeah.
Did any of you guys see this at the theater?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't, but I got to see at like the re-release they did this year.
Okay, cool. So you got you got to look at it in a better screen with better sound and everything than we ever did.
That annoyed me because that re-release didn't come to me. It didn't come to my ear. I thought it would, so that really drove me crazy because I was looking forward to like doing all those. It didn't happen.
I just did the first two. That's it. I thought about watching Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I was like, nah, I always saw that one in the theater, so I don't need to go back and see it again. Where you guys at?
Dr. Octopus is hanging Harry Osborn up over the side of the
building.
1 hour.
The
1 hour, 16 minutes, and 3 seconds, Chappie. It's around the same time. I'm using Disney Plus, so.
I'm on it.
So
I'm using
I've got a
Twitch,
question.
so I don't have to ask every 5 minutes where we're at.
If you were Spider-Man and you had to go up against one of the enemies, who would it be?
Who would I want to go up against, or who is the better fight? If I want to fight Herman as much as possible because he's a joke. The Shocker's a joke, so you want to fight him as much as possible.
I'm still mad we didn't I'm still mad that we still haven't gotten the full costume of the Shocker yet. All we got was a glove in Homecoming. Like they got
Shocker was a joke on Spider-Man 2 in the old game, on the old one Ruth, that we were just talking about earlier. He was a joke going on that.
Yeah, but they even utilized him better in the animated series, so that's why I kind of want.
Yeah, he's a clown. Droga says he'd go against Speedball, the social media prankster. Cool fights would be your Venom fights, your Goblin fights.
I'd probably go against Hydro Man because it's like there's all kinds of ways I can exploit that power against him.
You just say Speedball?
No, Droga said Speedball. I said I'm Spider-Man, so if I want to get into a fight with somebody, I want to fight Shocker as much as possible because he's a fucking joke, dude. So that's why it's fun to fight.
That character almost didn't appear with that name because when that character was first put out,
because of drugs,
because they were like, "What are you doing?"
DC has a villain in DC that's his powers get activated by using cocaine. It's like his name's like Ice something.
That's right.
Post John Belushi, we're gonna name a superhero Speedball.
Speedball's a Dan Slott creation, right? In the big time arc, right?
Yeah, he appeared in 88, I think was his first year, and it was like I
88. I was talking about. Okay, so I'm wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was.
This is the most clear fire I have ever seen in my life.
The Spider-Man 1 fire was pretty clear too. The one where he's fighting the Green Goblin and flipping over the fucking blades of the pumpkins. That was a pretty clear fire.
That's such an awesome shot too when he's dodging
those
blades.
It's a great scene.
I've never seen smokeless fire before.
You're not. You got to be in the heart of the fire. You got to be in the heart of the fire, Clint. When you're right up against it, the smoke is up. You know. That's a clear ass fire, Clint. Why you got to ruin the movie?
Oh,
Why you got to
she's
ruin the
so
movie with
cute.
common sense logic?
My family is a bunch of firemen, so
Okay. Who wanted help in the building with the dreadlocks? Was that the if you mess with New York, you mess with everybody guy from the first movie?
That looks a lot like that guy. Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's been a while.
Claudia, who would you go up against?
Against
Spider-Man
I
villains?
would
Would you? Yeah.
for me it would have to be the annoying one. Screwball.
Screwball. That's who I thought I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I was talking about a second ago. Yeah. Screwball. Screwball is annoying.
Oh, Rhino would be a good one.
Rhino would be a pain in the ass to fight when you're gonna fight him, but yeah. It looks cool when you're fighting him. But Ruth asked who I'd want to fight. It's gotta be
this
Shocker.
is such a total waste of a character. That
Why?
She it's just totally wasted.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they utilize her well in this. She does it. She serves a purpose.
You think she's
like-
underutilized, Clint? Is that what you mean? Or am I looking at inferring what you're saying wrong?
She's underutilized. You're right.
Okay.
I'm using the wrong word.
Okay.
I would like to know who Nerd would go up against.
But Spider-Man's
They
what you
were
want. Next.
possibly setting her up for like a possible love interest, but I don't think they were going to do that.
Electro.
Well, that's why it was underutilized. She actually likes Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have solved this with just a phone message on the recorder, and that would have been just as good as what she actually does.
But then he wouldn't have got any cake.
Well, yeah, there is no cake then.
Yeah. She comes back. He has They do kind of continue their relationship in 3 too. I really like that scene when he's on the payphone with the Connors 3, and he's talking to her on the other end. He's he's got the black suit, so he's really full of himself. So I go, that's yeah, Doc.
Brad,
Oh, yeah. Go get
I gotta
some milk.
stop you. I gotta stop you. You never, ever, ever call that monochrome. It's called monochrome. Don't call it my black costume. You see my black costume right here, Brad?
Okay.
We didn't just turn down the colors in post. I'm just fucking.
I always love the.
What's the difference between black and monochrome?
I'm just talking about the colors on the suit just get turned down. They just mute the colors all the way to black on that suit, and then they make fun of it in the movie, in the newspaper, where they try to frame Spider-Man instead of designing a new suit or putting effort into the design. This is one of the reasons I didn't like 3. That, the disco emo scene, the retcon that Sandman really killed Uncle Ben was ridiculous.
That one was fine. My only issue is I
So,
don't like.
so we take away the
only
Chappie.
issue-
Wait a second. You're moving too fast. I want to discuss what you just said. The animus, even if we're not caring about the comics, the animus for the character for what Peter Parker did was that he let the crook go. Right after his uncle told him, "Great power, great responsibility." He let the crook go in lieu of getting a personal reward for himself, and that crook then turned around and killed his uncle, his father figure. That created the whole thing about him becoming Spider-Man and taking it serious and becoming a hero. Spider-Man 3 comes around, and we need a new villain and have 2 villains. So we're just going to take one villain, and instead of making his story compelling, we're going to give him a connection to Peter by saying, well, it really wasn't the guy that killed your uncle that you let go. It was his driver, which was the Sandman's, for convenience sakes. That's stupid as hell. That takes away everything in the other 2 movies. So that to me is one of the most ridiculous things about that movie. The costume is bad, but whatever. But that is like that undermines the whole series to me when you put that into account. So that's my opinion based on what you're saying.
The only issue I have is I don't like how Venom is utilized.
Yeah, I'll give you that too.
I feel like if Sam Raimi would have put more respect into the character in Venom, then I think it would have done fine. But the fact
I don't think he wanted to put Venom in the movie the way. If you watch the movie for what it is, yeah, it looks like he doesn't want. You get the bell ringing scene where Spider-Man's removing the costume. That's right out of the comic books.
Yeah,
and that's a great shot and a great setup. But yeah, everything about not everything about that movie, but everything about that character and specific Chappie, I would tend to agree with you.
Yeah, like he's just very like skinny looking, and he just screams instead of like talking.
Eddie Brock doesn't have the buff factor, and the Venom costume is not really intimidating at all. You know, it's just kind of goofy. Yeah.
And I love Spider-Man 3, but that's my only big issue and gripe I have with
agree
it.
with you on that point. So
I just think had he had put more respect into the character, then I think it would have done better. But that's stream for another day.
Nerd. Who would you fight? Back when Ruth had
Electro or Rhino? I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out get someone that's easy.
Same.
William, who would you choose?
Hold on for a second. I gotta figure out where that's coming from. All right, it's not Chappie.
It could be Aaron.
Is it me?
Sorry.
It stopped. Okay, it was her.
It
All right,
couldn't,
cool.
couldn't be me. What people talking?
It was just I could hear the background come through. So who would I fight for? Okay, what's
Yeah.
If you're Spider-Man, who do you want to fight? That was the question.
Sorry,
I was like the easiest villain. I mean,
Who do you want? I mean, whoever you want to fight. If I'm me, I'm fighting the Shocker. That was my comment. So who are you fighting?
Probably Hobgoblin.
That motherfucker would be hard as hell just to be fighting him for no reason. Goblin gas is no joke, man.
There's the back pain right here.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, he would have died there.
Superpowers, man.
He's back. He's back.
He doesn't have superpowers right now.
They're coming back. They're coming back.
Didn't they repeat that joke in No Way Home where Andrew Garfield like cracked his back like
Coming back. Spider,
Right.
what are you doing for your birthday? Sorry.
Oh, and I'm hanging out this weekend right now. When they were eating the cake in the movie, somebody put a piece of cake in front of me, so I was eating cake with the movie Spider-Man, just like pretty meta. So, hanging out.
The cake is
enjoy the weekend. The cake isn't a lie in this case, Brad or Clint. That was a lie. You're not Brad, but the cake is actually very real. Taste it.
Easy, Spidey. You're pulling a Brad right now. You're mixing names up. So
I know. I need to call him Blint. I'll call you guys Blint. How about that? Make life easy.
Just think of me as the less dumb friend.
Got it.
The less dumb friend. Wow.
Oh, don't ask Claudia.
I'm not
You'll
gonna
come
ask.
out with another hashtag soon as well, mind you, one of Brad's favorite ones.
We don't give you PTSD or anything, do we, Brad? Like it's all good. It's all jokes, right?
Yeah, but Ruth,
You don't
know
wake
what?
up with nightmares with all of our sayings, do you?
I can do this all day.
Okay.
Brad's more dumb friends took him to see Scary Movie in the theater. We're the less dumb friends.
We made it on screen.
Yeah, you're the ones who want me to do the watch party of Cat in the Hat.
No, but we gotta make
classic, man.
Guys, we gotta make Brad watch Mr. Bean disaster movie because that one he would laugh so much he'd piss himself.
No, we gotta let Brad
So
watch.
Claudia decided to take off early. So
How about the Garbage Pail Kids? Let's let him watch the Garbage Pail.
And Chappie also decided he needed to leave early, so we're gonna watch the movie.
What, that people can't have opinions now, Brad? Isn't it about to be Independence Day in a couple of days?
Yeah, in Independence Day, it's you have the right to your opinion, not your own facts. Okay.
Hey, it's just, I'm just saying, it'd be a funny movie for you.
Here's Kirsten Stewart's tight dress scene coming up.
Kristen Dunst, you mean?
Kristen Dunst, sorry.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart.
She's so beautiful.
Yeah,
like-
my bad. I'm horrible with names.
Yeah.
Hey.
But again, like Doc Ock, it's like this movie is awesome, but he wasn't thinking it through. It's like maybe one of the tentacles like was overly aggressive and told him it's like, okay, you gotta kidnap her and tell him to go get Spider-Man, but the way you're gonna do that is you're gonna throw a car at them.
Food for thought. Her career. Interview with the Vampire. This Civil War. These are all movies she's been in. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
she's been in it for a while. She's been doing it for a while. I've just dropped 3 movies she's been in. You know, she's been doing it for a while.
The first thing I ever saw her in actually was Jumanji when she.
Yep.
It was great in Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, don't forget Small Soldiers is a classic.
Dunstan checks in.
Yeah, Small Soldiers, I do like that. Yeah.
Small Soldiers.
You know what it is, though?
Small Soldiers came out around the same time Toy Story did, didn't it?
Yeah, what was that, Ruth?
She's naturally beautiful, though, isn't she? Like she just is a natural, like beauty, really.
Yeah. Well, I've always noted the irony that Kirsten Dunst plays MJ, even though she looks more like Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy is played
Dallas,
by
Alice
Dallas
Howard looks like in real life. And I'm not so upset about that, but I've made that same observation, Brad.
Yeah,
that's all the more reason why I think Topher Grace should have been.
Yeah, I'm not upset about that. I just find it's kind of like when I.
It's funny because that's what they look like. She looks just like Mary Jane that would look like at that time.
He throws the car right here, then he doesn't realize that it could have killed both of them.
Exactly. That's why I kind of headcanon to say it's like, okay, like one of the tentacles got overzealous with the mission and told him just throw a car at them. And then into the Spider-Verse, like,
what was that, Brad?
Into the Spider-Verse, even kind of like because it has like in the intro, like kind of recaps a lot, like a.
Mm-hmm. The perfect Spider-Man storyline. Yeah.
And in that version, has him in the suit in the cafe, and he just punches the car back out the window.
It's the tight dressing.
But wait, when Pete curls the fist up, man, it's like one of the all-time best poses in a superhero movie right here coming up.
Yeah,
and he's not even in the costume.
Coming up, this is probably one of the best villain threats in a CVM. It's like, find Spider-Man or I'll peel the flesh off her bones.
He played Doc Ock well, and Defoe played Goblin excellent. The direction on this was great. Casting on it was great.
Yeah, that kills a normal human being there.
When he throws against the wall like that?
Yeah.
I don't want to say great. I just think it was sensational. Like,
perfect time.
But I will say, I am still bummed we never got to see Dr. Cook Connor's wizard.
Yeah.
The lizard, yeah.
Yeah, they were setting him up, but that would have been.
Imagine if they brought him back if he was the lizard in No Way Home.
No, I don't think that would have worked though.
Because then you would have had to have him like you could have had him as Connor. You would have had to immediately be the lizard.
It made sense to bring back the wizard from like into Garfield's world, so that's why.
Take off the glasses, right? It's too blurry. You got your powers back. That's why he survived it, Clint. They were coming back, like I said.
My glasses doesn't do that.
With the lens just kind of pops.
Yeah,
out.
get bit by a radioactive spider, Salati. It's great.
Yeah.
Sucks that first night.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do a Spider-Verse watch-a-thon 1 and 2? That'd be cool.
We should do a double feature though. We'll watch both movies.
That's what I'm saying. If you watch both of them back to back, that'd be.
Well, maybe
nice.
we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it before the new movie comes out next year.
Gets it back from Jameson real quick with the leaves the letter behind. That's right out of some comics right there.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, with the note he leaves too.
With the web and everything. The note, that's classic.
I want Spider-Man. They got that.
Here
story
comes
to
the
play really
bad
fast.
CGI.
When he was taking Mary Jane away, it was pretty bad. Actually, I was waiting for you to say something.
I think it looks okay.
Just in relation to where we're at, Chappie, it was fine when it came out, but 2024, it's a 20-year-old movie. Like,
I just think at that time there was worse CGI that came out, like Van Helsing.
I'm not saying it's bad CGI or worse. I'm just saying compared to the practical effects, the CGI looks bad.
Yeah, that's the same with the Thing prequel. You want to get into that discussion?
And this is one of the best Spider-Man fights ever.
It might still be the best
on
one.
screen, anyways.
It might still be the best one though. Even though I love the Electro and Green Goblin fight scene in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but this one still ranks up at the best one for me.
yeah,
yeah.
takes it all over. The fight goes all over the place. The stakes are still street level, Brad. Not blowing up the whole city to get this fight done or whatever.
Yeah, how does Doc Ock take that kick?
Dodges there. I love those couple with it.
Well, he has the tentacles are in this iteration. Their tentacles are thinking with him and for him. So
yeah. Well, in this tour, he leaches bullets.
He's inhuman in that regard. So. Lamar is in this scene.
Yeah,
the
that's
actor, comedian, voice actor.
Yeah, that's Samurai Jack right there.
No, he'll be in the front of the train at the end.
Yeah.
At the end of the scene.
Well, he also was in a couple of movies. Like, wasn't he in
He's in all types of shit. He's all types of stuff.
Yeah.
He's the Green Lantern in DC. He's Static in DC.
He's Will and
he's Bam on Metal Gear Solid 4. He's the UPS guy on Mad TV. He's on Pulp Fiction. You know.
That would be a cool guy to meet.
How many viewers have we got on Twitter at the moment?
We have got right now 71. So yes, please, if you are watching via Twitter right now and you haven't liked to subscribe to the Sci-Fi Center official YouTube channel already, please join us over there. And we also have it on Discord. Merrier, please join us.
We'll get more views with the can hats.
And make sure to join our Discord server as well.
What was that, Aaron?
Make sure to join our Discord server as well.
Saving people in a superhero movie?
Yeah.
They still do that?
Oh, yeah.
I
There's Lamar right there in the front of the train to the right hand side.
An arachnist, I guess, someone who stays spider, said it wouldn't take as much spider web as he used to stop the train. That's how strong spider web is.
He's about to make the poop safe right here. We've got to like.
William, I think you might need to go onto the buy-in now. It's starting now. The matches are just starting now.
Yeah. Oh, what, 15 minutes? Yeah. Yeah, I'm multitasking here.
Yeah, it's just starting now. Serpentico has just come out.
Wow, they started that early.
Yeah, it's you gotta go click it now.
We've like stopping this train right here. Like this gets meme like so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is where I would have been if I was doing what I was supposed to do when I was younger. I'd have been in the scene with the kids.
You would have been like you would have
No,
been
I
a kid.
wouldn't have handed him the mask. I would have been in the
Been,
back.
no, come on, don't.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't got a SAG card. I wouldn't have been able to get that line.
Oh yeah, this is the
Isn't that Joey from Joe Rogan?
I mean, just how much he's hanging on for dear life here.
The trope with this situation is usually Superman is stopping the train, right, Brad?
Yeah.
This is the Superman situation.
That never even occurred to me that this is usually we're thinking of we associate.
That's why I always like this because
now it's Spider-Man.
It's a classic superhero trope that you got to stop the speeding train. The controls are broke off. That's usually this is a job for Superman type thing. You know what I mean?
Well, in fact, it's Spider-Man doing it because he's got superhuman strength, but not to the level of Superman. He's working from more of a disadvantage, and he still manages to pull it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always like this, and I love this
Although
scene.
the train probably would have derailed the first attempt that he tried.
Well, and of course, it's pretty clear Jesus symbolism they're doing here,
Which is plenty of every Superman movie does too.
Oh yeah,
Twitter must be doing something. There's one thing about Twitter that they do. They make sure that people know that you're on when Twitter notifications are on point. StreamYards
YouTube's delayed.
YouTube's, they're like, they're like, maybe we'll let people know that you're on, maybe not.
Yeah, when you go live and get like
15
as early as 10,
sometimes. Twitter
10 minutes late.
They feed it right to you. I mean, we got like 81 people watching. It's like all the complaints I have of them, that's not one of them because they're very good at that. That's for sure.
And as I was kind of alluding to earlier, the kids who
he needs to do something with that hair. Oh man.
Where are you talking about the movie or the wrestler? The guy with the five head?
Spidey, right?
I'm watching both.
No, that wouldn't have been me. That wouldn't have been me. I was a little too big for that at that time.
As I said, we got first glimpse of Spidey right there.
I would have been behind the guy with five head and next to the lady with the baby. That would have been back there peeking around.
Oh, you're him.
You are still. As Tex has just joined with.
I'm still. I'm just commenting. We're watching this.
Oh,
yeah.
Those are Tobey Maguire's cousins, I think. Like they're the kids who handed back his mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something like that. I think you're right.
Wait, what do you get?
And Brad, you got to appreciate when it comes to superhero movies in this era, the Spider-Man costume in both movies was done well. And they improved on it a little bit in this one.
Yeah.
But
it's the only one that does a proper reflection because Spider-Man's eyes are not white; they are reflective.
No, they're reflective. Yeah.
And with also
they're lenses.
Yeah, they're meant to so he can see out, but you can't see in.
I do like the effect on the MCU Spider-Man where it emotes the eyes. That's pretty cool. I think that's
they use the Ditko. They use Ditko's.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Oh, this is definitely a comic book transition with the spider.
Yeah, definitely. That was nice.
This is in the trailer too. When he brings Spider-Man there and lays him on the couch, and then Harry pulls off. Let's see he's behind the mask, and it cuts away right before. We all went in like the theater knowing that Harry was going to pull off the mask and find out who's behind it. But
is there a comic reference to that shot, by the way, William? Where Doc Ock's laying Spider-Man down tied up like that?
What was that, Aaron?
She's talking about
a squash match.
Door.
Oh, she's talking about wrestling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Is the wrestling on?
Yeah,
We're both
it's
watching
just
wrestling
started.
and this at the same time.
Multitasking, I love it.
Did he tie him up with barbed wire or something? Because that's like. Yeah, what is that? Is that barbed wire?
Yeah, it's something like barbed wire or something like that.
Yeah, and he just flings it off.
He's got his strength back, so it's like it only works if he's not conscious.
No, I'm just saying he's punching Doc Ock and just flings that stuff off. And I'm like, without knowing the comic book.
Right, I understand what you mean. Suspension of disbelief gets tested in that situation, right, Clint?
Well, I'm not really a comic book guy. I like the movies, but I'm just.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people who will see comic book movies will never pick up a comic book. Like some 85% of people who watch these movies will never pick up a comic book, which is unfortunate, actually.
Hey, our guest yesterday, Daryl Williams, that dude had everything. That's like that would be your ideal customer right there. That guy had it all. That guy had it all. He even had Brad's stuff.
Yeah.
In book form, everything.
He had a man cave there.
He had everything. He was bringing up Image Comics, Boom. He was bringing everybody up.
Yeah,
By
but
the
Brad,
way,
you were saying that you've got quite a lot of stuff, haven't you?
Yeah,
Like,
I
obviously,
got. I need to break some of these out and like show them on here at some point. Like some of kind of my most prized ones of my collection. Like again, I got like a lot of the Earthworm collection over here behind me. Oh, by the way, real quick, yeah, here's another comic shot. I'm sure Spider League him crawling on top of the ceiling there. That's a great. Anytime they work any of the classic Spider-Man poses, that's always
when he's sneaking in like that. Yeah. In the shadow of the rooftop. Yeah.
Anyway, I got I pull up posts on my collection. I got some of it over here, but you guys can't see it because they're not on camera. But like some of it over here, some of it back there, and then some of it even under the bed.
And another thing, putting that chain on Mary Jane, she would not be able to stand for very much longer. It would be so heavy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, Clint, I mean, we have a fucking son in there. So she'd be getting crushed by the gravity it's creating, right?
It's the fact that our dress is still on, but the
chain is real. And actually, we are making a sun on planet Earth.
At CERN.
No, it's a tokamak generator.
Oh.
They just recently made more power than they put in.
So fusion energy is within our lifetime then?
No, because they can only do it for a few microseconds.
So this will be based on a true story soon enough.
Probably within Brad's lifetime, since he's so young.
Okay, so Brad, you're actually watching a documentary from the future.
Okay.
You'll be the Stan Lee that staves somebody when Aunt May's getting ran up the building. That'll be you.
Excelsior. Yeah, by the way, taking this back to No Way Home, because we're coming up in a minute here, like to the exact, all the villains, they state the exact moment in their movies they were pulled out of their universe and into No Way Home. So this is coming when he's got the tentacle up to Peter's throat. That's the point where he gets pulled into the MCU in No Way Home. So I always kind of wondered, like
how they were going to connect that. Yeah.
Like the thing I was thinking about is like mainly thinking about like anybody like who was born maybe after this movie, or like a lot of the other the other Spider-Man movies were like, imagine like seeing No Way Home first. If you had, so these could be almost, you could like.
But they were trying to prep everybody by heavily promoting the other movies too, like.
Yeah, but I imagine like the idea of like being a kid, like somebody like 8 years old, and you see No Way Home first, so that's your first time seeing, Molina and Defoe and all the other villains, and they describe like, here I had my hand in his throat, or I had Spider-Man cornered, then I just ended up here. So then imagine like that, seeing that, and then you go back and revisit these movies, and you revisit these exact moments, like, oh, this is being able to have that kind of experience, like, oh, I've seen for the first time, years removed from it, being able to pinpoint this is the exact moment these villains were brought into No Way Home. That's kind of this a thought's been in my head ever since I saw it, for like anyone who's like a kid seeing No Way Home, and that's your first exposure to these villains.
So is Ben Affleck's Daredevil the Daredevil of this universe, bro?
There's a rumor there's a rumor he might be in Deadpool Wolverine, actually. And
I know, but I'm just talking about like,
Ledger in there. So
what kind of concurrent events might have been going on in this Spider-Man's experience? Was that Blade? His Blade? Was that Team of X-Men? Were they up were they upstate? You know what I'm saying?
No, Toby and Andrew, Peter 2, Peter 3, they don't have an Avengers, so it's like, okay, they don't have the Avengers, but they have other heroes in their universes. That's we don't really know that yet.
This cameo salad for.
I'm not talking about cameos out. I'm just.
That's probably going to be the movie.
What fits in your mind of what's already been made?
They're going to throw so much shit into this movie that I'm going to have plenty of time to. Wait in line and get the popcorn bucket, because that's really, I'm going to see what happens with the TVA as it pertains to the future, and I'm going to go get the popcorn buckets.
Well,
at any point during Deadpool and Wolverine, I get an indication of where this is, where I think it's going, and I've seen enough, I might walk out of this movie.
Do you think they'll do anything with the that other town that Robert Blake is from? That Sylvie went to in Loki, where she was working at McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's the town Robert Blake. Huh?
Yeah, I think that's all going to be included in. That's why I'm going.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that would be cool to see where that kind of stuff goes.
Yeah. Once I saw the TVA and the trailer and that one guy, I'm like, okay, this is a continuation of what was been my favorite Marvel show so far, and what I wanted to see going with the Sacred Timeline. Like I said, that's how they got me. It was because that's the only reason I'm going to see that movie. This is the first time I'm actually paying to see a Deadpool movie.
Now, in a minute here, when he brings the fusion reactor down, I know a couple things kind of stand out to me. Like, one is, I don't know if it's just me, but does it look like he tries to climb out of there before it sinks? And you'll see that in a second. But also, he has the line, "I will not die a monster," and that kind of has a double meaning now post No Way Home, because he's like, I won't die a monster, which is why I'm sacrificing myself.
I think it's because his final, in the context of when this movie was released, because his last good act was a heroic, or at least an altruistic thing. So
okay, right here, like, does it look like he's trying to climb out here at anybody?
Nah.
No. He's under the thing. He's just under the thing right now. So
he says, I will not die a monster. So he's dying, doing a heroic act, but also then it's like, now it has a double meaning post No Way Home, because it's like, I won't die a monster, and he doesn't now, because now he's been given a second chance. I still, to this day, I have no idea what that web line was sticking to when they swing away.
Like a light.
Like a crane. There's a crane off camera.
No, there's like a light. Yeah, there's cranes right there in the background, but like a light in the water, dude. You gotta be able to see when you're on the dock, Brad. Come on, man. But yeah, they went to a crane, so yeah.
Might have been that one right there. This is cool too. Again, more with the shooting the webs and like the classic.
Introducing
weird to
Taladia,
see
and he turns around and does a pose.
when
All
you
right,
guys
right.
do that, and you have the camera off to the side, it's just, and then you have a different background. It's just like it looks different. It's just I had to pull that up there. And there's
Okay.
Was it
and there's Hangover.
Brad
Henrietta.
to the look like Tom Tom?
So fun. That's the
hangover's gone.
that's what they suggest in the movie. Exactly, Azteca. That was my
Great
thought
Scottish
exactly.
pineapple.
Like Azteca has a comment, Brad. That's exactly what Taladia looks like an 80s sitcom where they do all the characters and the little slice of life scenes. Like,
we were all posing. Okay.
yeah, that's what Taladia was doing.
Wait, what?
When you got put up on the camera, you were like starting one way and turn around and smiled, like nodded your head, like a total sitcom intro, like in a theme song intro.
Oh, okay.
Like you're just living your life, but then you turn around and smile at the camera, or like a Mentos commercial.
Yeah, I'm just like chilled, relaxed. That's why I guess it's a Sunday, and Aaron's just like watching too much.
Aaron's
Aaron's got an Elmo on. Aaron, is that Elmo?
Is that Elmo?
You got Elmo there on the road there. Yep. Aaron, his hands up.
I thought it was that mushroom from Mario Brothers she was wearing.
Also, the toadstool.
Yeah, she's hilarious. We got to do a tour of Aaron's place one day.
He's my favorite Sesame Street character.
Cookie Monster for me, or Big Bird.
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffy was cool. Kermit the Frog is a classic, I guess, right? He was so big, he had 2 shows.
Williams Kermit the Frog.
He sure is.
There's Dracula. People.
Oh God, I love the faux cameo. Here, what, you want me to do one now? Okay.
I'm missing the old.
Brad, you've got your goatee back again.
Oh yeah. I know Ruth loves it when I grow out a beard for some reason.
Here we go.
This guy's like an amazing Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe killed it as Green Goblin.
I try to do the thinker as my pose.
Brad grows his scruff so he doesn't get carded at the bars.
The bearded men in Scotland, I love them.
I'm actually planning to shave pretty soon, so. But then it'll be back in a week. I can't get rid of it.
Yeah, Sharpies aren't expensive.
So Aaron, so now I'm doing it. I'm sorry, Ruth. Rurin.
Wow. What the hell?
I'm sorry. I pulled it up. I'm sorry, Aaron. I meant to say Ruth.
You're pulling a Brad.
I'm pulling a Brad. I got to call her Rurin now. This is my favorite Spider-Man villain.
We're gonna do the fusion dance.
There you go. Say fusion high and do the dance. You guys will become one.
And which way am I pointing? I'm pointing that way, aren't I?
Yep. If you do everything that Aaron's doing, then that's the fusion dance. You gotta.
What is she doing? Hold on, wait a minute.
She's doing the fusion dance. Hey, William, it's the fusion dance. You gotta. If you know, you know. You got to yell out fusion high at the same time. If you do it wrong, you'll be really skinny and old or really fat. So you gotta do it perfectly. Fingers have to touch exactly on time. Every move has to be the same. If you do it wrong, you're stuck in the wrong body for a half hour. But their power is not twice as much; it's exponentially stronger.
The fact that
they're crazy.
Went ahead and went right into it.
Is this like form of a bucket of water?
No. It is not Wonder Twins. It is not the Wonder Twins. It's the fusion technique.
Too many rules.
The metamorphin.
Go ahead, Taladia. What is it called?
The metamorphin.
I don't know. Not the guitar earrings. The metamorphin.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Taladia knows his shit.
Yeah, I'm a Dragon Ball fan.
There you go. You need to let Jared and your other guy know, man. They misquote Dragon Ball all the time.
I know my shit about Dragon Ball.
Let him know, Taladia.
What in the world is happening here?
Erin is on it. She's trying to teach everybody how to do the fusion dance. Yeah, you got to step sideways with it. Yeah, exactly. Then you got to put your knee out. You got to put your knee up and then out. You got to do the whole turn. Exactly. She's got it down.
And at the same angle.
You guys both have to do it at the same time, or like you said, you're gonna be stuck in the wrong body for a while. But yeah, you guys could be ruined. And if your tower form would be Aerus. That would be your tower
form. She goes back to her normally scheduled wrestling now.
But just in time for this dude to get left at the altar too.
No spoilers.
That's the Wolfman, Brad. That's the Wolfman.
Yeah, Man Wolf. Yeah.
Man Wolf.
Star Moon, or what was his name? Moon something Star, something.
Yeah. Now everybody knows how to do the fusion dance.
We have no.
We need to clip that and put some music to it. William, will you send me the link to last night's wonderful movie that we watched?
Why are we bringing up? That was not a wonderful movie.
Aaron,
yeah, sure,
Fun had some commentary on your finger positioning during the fusion dance, so he said you got to snuff up on your finger positioning. That's what Fun said.
Hey, this Jonas, the Man Wolf. What was his first appearance? Anybody know what his first appearance was?
Not offhand.
Not offhand. No.
Spider-Man should know right off the top of his tongue. Shouldn't even have to think about it.
I might be wrong, but is it a Moon Knight? Is he a Moon Knight appearance? Is he? What's the vampire story? The horror story that tells of?
No vampire story.
Tales of Horror, the Thor, or whatever that one the Thor came out of.
It's in Spider-Man. This is kind of sad.
I don't know, William. I don't know.
I mean,
yeah, I guess I'm stumped. What is it? Is it? It's not the fun. Wow, he's in the first issue.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh,
he's the astronaut in the ship that the Chameleon's trying to sabotage.
Yeah. Yes. He's.
Wow.
And that for anybody you know,
I thought for sure you know that one.
Well, I got me stuck.
For anyone in the know, that's when Spidey, when he first tries to join the Fantastic Four, and he's just starting out, of course, in his superhero life. So he tries to join the Fantastic Four.
Basically, tell him to kick rocks and politely.
Well, he finds out he's not going to get paid. So
when does the spaceship come back? William, when does that story take place? That's I thought was his first appearance was leading up to the spaceship coming back.
Technically, well, yeah, as Man Wolf, it's going to be a little bit later on. I forgot what it is.
But yeah, no, I didn't even know that he was in the first issue this whole time. I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Creatures on the Loose is where you first see him as Man Wolf.
Mary Jane says, "Go get him, Tiger."
Even better final swing than the first movie coming up here. And he got suited up really quick there.
Fire trucks.
Yeah. Well, he turns a few corners. There's helicopters. There's a gorgeous sunset.
But before where he first appears as a Man Wolf.
What year? What
1974.
Okay. 12 years after debut.
Spider-Man 1
first appearance
is as
Spider-Man 1 is 62, right?
Their rotors get stuck with the web.
That's the first
Spider-Man 1 is
teaser.
61.
I thought Amazing Fantasy 15 is April of 61 or 62, and then Spider-Man 1 is May 4th. First issue drops 62.
I could just turn around. Yeah, 1963. Actually, no.
Okay.
No, March. Yeah, March 1963. So
Amazing Fantasy 15 is when? Is that April 62?
62.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Chappie's right. John Landis right there is one of the doctors in the lab scene. That is Spider-Man 2, everybody.
June.
20 years.
Well,
later.
that's why William's the expert when it comes to this fucking comic book shit. Because he said I didn't even know fucking Jameson's son was in the fucking first issue of the shit.
Yeah, he's literally because the Chameleon is trying to. That's the Chameleon's first appearance as well.
Yeah,
he's trying to sabotage it, and then Jameson's kid is the astronaut that's on the ship that gets sabotaged. All right, guys. Love to stick around and talk forever, but I got to roll into this Forbidden Door thing that I'm about to do, and then I got to roll right from that to Game of Thrones, and then after that, I'll be back for just a really quick half-hour talk about whatever debauchery is in that show, and then I'll be back later on tonight for our normally scheduled. I haven't decided whether I want to publish the what is it? What was it? The in a Violent Nature last night. I just don't. Like I said, I am a big supporter of independent filmmaking, and I really, if it's a major studio that spent millions and millions, it's easier to trash them because they can recover. But sometimes, that movie was. I've had time to think about it, and it wasn't good on any level, and that's the best thing I can say about it.
No, I totally agree with you, William.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
Yeah. My nightmare.
Just leave it.
Yeah, my nightmare is some independent guy just getting started comes across my review, and in the long scheme of things, my review doesn't mean shit. But I was just giving my outright minute by minute response to this because it was more of a disappointment because people told me that this was like, a good movie, and it's not good on any level. It doesn't even function as a movie. So hopefully these people get better, and years from now we're looking at their movie and be like, wow, remember when you made In a Violent Nature and how bad that was? Now look at you. Hopefully then I'll publish it. But right now they're just not that, like I said, they're going to happen upon my YouTube channel, but you never know. But yeah, that was 2 hours.
I totally respect that, mind you. I think that's a real gentleman thing to do.
Yeah.
Wow, she called you a
So
gentleman.
like I said, years from now, when they're making millions, when they're making hundreds of millions, and they're like at the Denis Villeneuve level, and they're like, "Wow, where'd you get started?" Well, let me show you because it wasn't very good. But all right, guys, I will see some of you for Game of Thrones after show, and I will see the rest of you tonight at roughly around 10:30ish. I'm gonna make it a point to get non-McDonald's type food tonight because last night kind of sucked.
Yeah.
All right, try.
Everybody say bye, not try. Bye, bye, as in goodbye. A word that is
Try.